Whew. All right, guys, I'm back. It is hot, so we are gonna chill. Um, I was supposed to go to the gym right now, but I am too hot. I'm not. I don't feel like it. Do not feel like going. Who would go in this heat? It's ridiculous. Redonkulous. It is redonkulous. You can see because it's hot. Cut my hair. I it was time to cut. Should have cut it 2 weeks ago, but it was definitely time. I had to do it. I had to do it. I had to do it, chat. I had to cut the hair. I had to do it. You know what I'm saying? Had to do it. Whew. Hotter than a blotter. Put on my little crooked glasses here. I like these. I like these though. See, you can see sweat bubbling up on my lips. It's hot. It's hot. Hot. You know what I mean? Jelly bean. Oy. Mm-mm-mm. Just type in. Oh, let me put on the YouTube while we're. Seeing if something real happens. That's man, so I buy. European. Like, dog, I didn't even bought German. So I thought this was hella interesting. The dude was saying that it's all bad in Miami. And one of the reasons is because everybody is selling, but he would continue. What happened to finding your wife, meeting her out, taking her on a date, and then seeing if something real happens? That don't exist no more. Extinct, bro, like dinosaurs. Wives is like dinosaurs. The extinct. You either buying the or you ain't getting it. Is it that you What's see up, chat? And you're like, here's $2,000. Just ask me anything. Heat wave. I mean, you could go What's up, Tati Kahamla? Some girls you buy them stuff. What's going on? What's up, Ponce? To the nice restaurants. You might buy them cars. You might pay their bills. It's like all kind of different ways to trick. I'm a trick. You're a pro trick. Trick or treat, trick or treat. Give me something good to eat. Number one, the weather is great. That's crazy. A lot of rich people are there, and a lot of people come to Miami, especially the fashion industry, what's up, parties and stuff like that. So Gabby, Ozambella, especially women. Hope I said that correctly. Are you Filipino? Looking to find Gabby? Rich. If you how old am I? I'm in my late 40s. I'm not giving exact ages that I can be identified. I'm more interested into like why was this guy saying this? And I found this particular chick who I did a video on my other channel about. She's like an IG. Do you like Contra game? I played the original Contra from the classic NES. I haven't played anything else. And she said this. So basically, if you're a girl and you want to go to a club in Miami, you have to go through. I would not date Miami. You can't even date Miami. Everything is transactional. Why was this guy saying this? And I found this particular chick who I did a video on my other channel about. She's like an IG model or an influencer, and she hangs out with a lot of like athletes all the time. And she said this. So basically, if you're a girl
and you want to go to a club in Miami, you have to go through a promoter, or you have to know somebody buying a table. Sorry, ignore my face. Just got a facial. So basically, the club pays promoters to find girls to bring to the clubs, so that the guys who buy the sections at the tables are spending money finding pretty girls, whatever. Like,
That's
the
not
more
new.
prettier girls are in the boys section, the more girls are drinking, the more whatever, the more money the club's gonna make, because the more bottles the boys are gonna buy. And that's how I get everywhere I go. It's either a promoter or someone I meet when I'm out.
So I thought this to be fascinating. So a lot of the promoters, and I know that big cities have promoters, LA, New York City, Miami, but it seems like Miami might be a little bit different because there's so many rich men out
Why
there.
is he playing
These
Inspector Gadget in the
promoters
background? That's
are
hilarious.
paid to bring these women into the club. So you have to look, first of all, a certain type of way for you even to
Inspector
come into the
Gadget,
club.
dude. What's up,
And if you
Carlton?
look at her,
I was supposed
she's
to go to the gym,
Caucasian.
but dude, it
And
is too
so if
hot.
you're a white
Yo,
promoter or a
I
Jewish
don't know if you
promoter
heading
or
if
even a Cuban
if you're
promoter,
heading to the
you have
gym
a certain
this
kind of
evening, but I
men
can't do it. It is
or
too hot,
clientele that you're
bro.
looking to impress.
It,
So
it
you're
was
going to
97
bring
degrees
the
last time
women
I checked,
that
and I
look
think it's hotter
largely
now.
like her.
No,
Right? Because
it's
for
still the
her,
same.
she can't even get into these particular high-end
97
clubs without
degrees and it's
knowing
humid.
a promoter,
So you got
right?
the you got
But
so you
guess
got
what?
just the
I got an opportunity to hear
the
from the
dry heat
promoter
plus
himself
the
in Miami.
humidity. Oh, so you just came back from the gym? Yeah, I would have went 2 hours ago. I'm not going now. Plus, I'm trying to get up early as possible because like this morning, like I get up at 4:20, but usually it takes me a little bit longer to get myself like uh make myself like lucid and ready to go out and run, which is usually about 5 a.m. For the past for the past 7 days, I've been getting out before 5 a.m. Like today, I got out at 4:42 a.m. I'm gonna try to do it even earlier
So
tomorrow if
this
I
guy
can. But
works for a lot of the high-end restaurants,
so by the
and
time
what he's
I
doing
finish
is
my
he's
run,
bringing in the top
it's not
chicks,
it hasn't even
and
hit 6 a.m. yet
usually a lot of these
because
events
yo,
are
it
paid
is too
for.
hot.
Two
And
not
even at
talking about this.
4:42,
Let's say, for
it
example,
was
the
already
rich guys, right?
70
You're a rich
degrees.
guy, you got a yacht
Mind you, that
party,
doesn't
all
seem
expenses
bad,
paid. The NFL
but when you
athlete chooses a
run,
guy like this. And so
a
let's
lot of
say,
people
for
don't notice.
example,
This is why
you meet a chick
runners
in
wear such
Miami,
skimpy clothing.
right?
But when you
And you
run,
want
your
to take her
body
out for
temperature
a
goes up
date.
10 to
But
20
then you got a
degrees.
guy like
So if
Vince
it's 70
who
degrees
has
out,
more
it's gonna feel more
opportunity
like
for a day
85
out.
degrees to you,
Well, then who are they going to choose?
right?
Right?
So
If you're like a
I
normal
was like,
guy, you go out to
imagine
dinner.
someone hitting
Well,
it,
they don't
and
need to
I've
go out
done
to
it.
dinner
I've
because
ran
if
in
he hits them up
95-degree
yo,
weather. I won't
the
do that shit
yacht,
again because
or we got this event.
uh,
Number one is going to
it
be
caused me a
free,
heat fatigue.
and then they can invite their friends to it.
I'm
And
not doing that
like I
again.
said, they're going to meet
The chest,
a higher
triceps, and
level
abs,
dude
and the
who most
elliptical
likely
machine.
that could be more than a regular guy. And so when you
Yeah, it's
have this
decent,
sort of situation
but
going on in Miami,
and plus with
where you
Planet
have
Fitness, you never know
a
when the
lot of the
fucking
women who are
HVAC
good looking, we're going to be
HVAC
honest, like
system's gonna
most
break
dudes that have
down.
money are not really looking
My
at
friend
average
in
chicks.
Germany, she was
Most
already
dudes that got
complaining that
money and want somebody
the
who's
air
really
wasn't working in this gym where she was at, so she said it smelled like ass. And I joked with her. I was like, that's because some of the people were coming to the gym already funky. Like the gym is gonna smell sweaty if there's no air, but it's not gonna necessarily be funky unless people are coming there funky. When you have air on, it's not gonna be as bad. Like, but when you have people coming there already stinky and the HVAC isn't working, it's a gyms without air. So no, yeah, especially for me if I'm doing cardio, man, the condo gym in Manila, the people used to turn off the air. That shit used to kill me, yo. They used to turn off the air because they thought they would get a better workout because they lose because they're sweating more and they thinking they're losing weight. I'm like, you're just losing water weight.
You hear that, Frankie? Your coat is gonna shine.
How about some
Right?
little
It's
eggs
like
for those surfer shirts?
um,
Human siblings would be jealous.
You can find the whole
they're
program
only
at
losing water weight. They're not losing
justacontrarian.com
like fat,
on our
and they
app
don't realize like
with
as soon
free
as they
same-day delivery
replenish
and
their
auto ship.
fluids, they're gonna get
Thank
that all
you.
back. Like they're like they're
Looks like Frankie has a new favorite.
they're risking like
Since switching to Blue
they're
Buffalo,
risking
her clothes have never looked
a
better,
heat
and she
like
knows.
a
Let us help you find the perfect Blue Buffalo recipe at
let me
Pet
drink some water.
looking good. So then, when you look for the girls that are looking good,
They're risking a
guess
heat
what? They
a
all
heat
got these promoters,
accident
and these promoters are offering all this stuff, free
to
drinks,
to
free
just
ass
sweat
guys,
sweat out
you
some
know, NFL
sweat
players.
off some water weight. It's not worth it.
So let's say, for example, you meet a chick in Miami, right? And you want to take her out for a date, but then you got a guy like this who has more opportunity for a day out. Well, then who are they going to choose, right? If you're like a normal guy, you go out to dinner. Well, they don't need to go out to dinner because if he hits them up like, yo, we got a yacht, or, we got this event, number one is going to be free, and then they can invite their friends to it. And, like I said, they're going to meet a higher level of dude. Most likely that could be more than a regular guy. And so when you have this sort of situation going on in Miami, where you have a lot of the women who are good looking, we're going to be honest, like most dudes that got money are not really looking at average chicks. Most dudes that got money and want somebody looking good. So then, when you look for the girls that are looking good, guess what? They all got these promoters, and these promoters are offering all this stuff. Free drinks, free acts to guys, NFL players, things like that. And of course, whether that lady wants to admit it or not, yeah, it is kind of like selling booty because you're largely going into these events paid by men to reach an upper class level of men. And guess what? Your defense mechanisms come down once you know you're on the yacht with dudes that got money. Let me give you an example. Let's say, for example,
I might have to switch
okay,
it up, sit closer to the TV.
I'll see a lady on the street, they just so thick out here, and I can go and like, hey, how you doing? And a lot of chicks be kind of standoffish a little bit in East Africa, not really Kenya for the most part, but for Uganda it is because most dudes don't just try to just walk up and holler at chicks like that, right? Okay, but now let's talk about when they find out. They go on TikTok, they'll see me on a podcast, they'll find out that, I got a YouTube channel or whatever. Now, when they'll come to one of our events, like our Pan-African dating show speed dating events, they'll come, they'll get a voucher for free cocktails. Now, if you ever invite them out and they have something to do, whenever an event that we got coming out, most likely they're not going to waste their time going to another event, and I'm going to tell you why. Number one, they know coming to my event, okay, it's going to be some free drinks, it's going to be some music, it's going to be Americans there, it's going to be some diaspora dudes there. Why would I go out with a dude like you? And then another thing, too, is a lot of these chicks in, like, the Miami ecosystem, these ladies don't have a whole lot of money, all right? Like, look at Ashley Jeanette. I hate to bring her up, but, she was a chick that wasn't really financially stable. She ended up getting with a guy, Joe McCann. He was rich, big-time crypto millionaire. But the reality is a lot of these chicks don't have money. Like the white lady that I put in this clip earlier in the video. She's a lady that her day job is a pharmacy technician. But you're in Miami and you're so used to the luxury lifestyle. And so many women that live in the big cities kind of get attached to this. I'm not talking about if you live like in places like Cleveland or Columbus, Ohio, or St. Louis. I mean, those are big cities too. But if you live in a place like Los Angeles, Atlanta, New York City, Miami, you're gonna want dudes that largely got money. And when you are a lady that's a pharmacy technician, I mean, you look like $1 million, but largely you can barely pay your rent. You can barely get your hair done, and you're going out almost 4 or 5 times a week. And the reason, guys, why they're going out 4 and 5 times a week, because they're trying to meet different rich guys throughout the week. That's what women do in the industry. They go out and they try to meet with as many people as they can. Here's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily trying to meet dudes where they can get clapped, but they are trying to meet more promoters, right? That's networking. More promoters means more parties, which means more access, okay? Bouncers. More bouncers means more promoters, quicker times to get into the line. That means you can more bartenders, more.
I saw this video. I saw a clip of that video that he's talking about, but he'll go on a whole rant. He'll do a whole tutorial on the video.
Instead of improving their skill, going to school at night,
I don't disagree with him on this
They're
though.
spending their time trying to hit it big. And
You
especially
know, sometimes when he's right, he's
when we
right.
bring this out, guys, you got a lot of foreigners.
I think
in
you're wasting your
Miami.
money going out tricking off in Miami.
Cubans,
The money
the
you spent.
Haitians. So
And I tell my friend
chicks
this
are
who,
trying to get
because
on.
he's
I
always
mean,
date
that's
these
how
entitled
Elvira
bitches
ended up
in the
with Angie
DMV area.
Venezuela.
For those who
So,
don't know what DMV
yeah,
means, it means
what's the best
DC,
way to get
Maryland,
on
and
if you're not
Virginia.
making a lot of money?
So he will go tricking off on these women in the watch. No, I'm sorry. He don't go. He would date these women in the Washington Beltway, and I told him, I'm like, dude, for the amount you spending dating these entitled, self-absorbed women in the Washington Beltway, you could have took like a weekend trip over to like the Dominican Republic, to Colombia, to Brazil, and have fun instead of dealing with these bitches. Like I don't
you know, you look at those ads.
I guess because I'm someone who likes to travel.
And they talk about these,
I just see it as a waste of money how American men will try so hard peacocking here in the States when they could spend a fraction of that and get way more for their money overseas with better women.
They don't have no money, and guess what? They are
like, yeah, there's some pretty women in Miami, but they're fucking broken. They're broken internally.
The booty clapping is going out sad.
Why waste all that money tricking off on some bitches in Miami?
Miami is the number one destination right now for HIV in the country. It's beating Houston by a mile. It's beating Memphis by the state.
And HIV. Look, the money you spent on these bitches in Miami, you could have went to Rio. Okay, you could have went to Cartagena or Medellin. You could have went to Bangkok or Pattaya. You could have, you could have went to Manila or Angeles City. Yeah. You could have went to Panama. You could have went.
For too long, trial lawyers have called the shots in Washington.
Panama City and Panama. And so many other places. Tricking off in Miami is stupid.
Soaring auto insurance rates. Lawmakers have a shot to reduce our cost of living by stopping lawsuit abuse. So, whose side is Congress on? The trial lawyers or families that need relief from rising costs? Let's pass the transportation bill with common sense reforms. Tell Congress to make auto insurance more affordable.
Tell Congress. Man, Congress don't give a fuck. Speaking of Colombia, I gotta see this one. Is it tricking off as an industry?
You're hanging out in Colombia. You're
Man.
to the store to pick up some things. Everything's cool. You've been enjoying your trip.
Like I said, if you're gonna trick off, look, I'm not necessarily against tricking off, but if you're gonna trick off, make it make your money work for you, man. Like if you're gonna trick off in Colombia, trick off in Pattaya. Trick off in Angeles City. Trick off in Panama City. For those who don't know, Panama City, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Trick off in Rio de Janeiro.
I got an email from a subscriber. Shout out to you, Elvin.
Trick off in Medellin.
Here's a video of a passport bro being set up in DR.
Like,
that was very interesting.
Like, why?
Just,
but you gotta be careful because you will get set up in Colombia. That's what he's talking about right now.
Goes terribly wrong. And so I went.
But you get set up anyway. You get set up in.
I checked it out, and what I saw was.
Like Al Pacino. You get set up walking your doggy.
Two women crying profusely, pretending to need help. You can see the lady is looking hurt, and you see another woman is like waving him over there. So this man, who was just really concerned, is trying to see what's happened with the lady. And as you can see, the lady falls down. It's almost as if she is drugged. So as the other woman is standing up above him and looking out for what's going on behind, she takes the opportunity to take out a needle and inject him with something.
Uh-oh.
This situation in the Latin world or the Colombian world is called burundaga.
Burundaga.
When you are injected with scopolamine. Now remember, scopolamine.
Oh, he got tricked out by the scopamine queen.
Usually a
See, you do have to watch out for setups.
drinks or any
You can
food
get set up
or
anywhere.
your face.
This dude
When
got
they
set
do
up
it
in the
this injection
in the
method, it's
Philippines.
called bulundonga.
I think in
And
Manila.
there
I'm
are
not.
even
He doesn't say
jokes
what
about
part,
it
but I'm
online.
assuming he was in Manila.
If you can see
And he was an
here,
old
the
army
last
vet. Like
thing the grain
he was an
of
old
salt
army vet,
before waking
like
up
much older than me. He was
was
like,
opium
if
and
I still have
copper.
his business card, I
But the
think he was a former
translation to
lieutenant
that
colonel,
was actually
and he did
bulundonga instead of
counterintelligence.
scopolamine.
How
That
the
was the
fuck are
English
you
version.
army
So basically,
counterintelligence
you
and you
see
getting
this
set up in a
beautiful
Philippine
lady
bar?
that has this
They drugged
really
his
nice
they drugged
body,
his drink.
and you go and
Like
try
how
to
do
talk to
you
her,
why
and right there in middle of
don't you
daylight,
don't
what you
you
get is
never take open
now
drinks
I know
in
what
sketchy
you're
bars,
going to
especially in
say.
third world
That's what you
countries.
passport bros get. You're going
They
out
drugged him
there
and then
dealing
they
with
dragged
these
him outside
Colombian
and beat
women.
him.
You're not dealing
But
with
he
those
said,
American
because
women.
he had
You're
permanent
out there
residence,
trying to clap dicks, and
uh,
you're over there
he,
losing your life
he
getting
was cool
robbed.
because the cops came and they were going to arrest him. They saw he had a permanent residency. So he was like, dude, get your permanent residency. Hamad says, especially in gay bars. I wouldn't know about that, Hamad Gaffa. You sound like you frequent gay bars because I wouldn't have any reason to be in a gay bar in the first place. I don't frequent the Blue Oyster like you do. If you frequent the Blue Oyster, salute to you, but yeah, I don't rock that way. I wouldn't it would never be a reason for me to be in a gay bar. So I'm not getting set up in any bars, but most of the bars are going to be the ones for straight men getting set up by women. How do you know the name then? Because it's a oh you're not too bright because because there's a name of a bar from the movie Police Academy is a joke. Anyone you're not either you're too young or you're just dumb because that is a everyone from the 80s knows the joke about the Blue Oyster because the cop Mahoney set up the cops that he didn't like. You talking about Shore Buddy? Carlton, tell this faggot who likes to go to gay bars and said don't get set up at gay bars. The joke, the running gag about Blue Oyster, that was a whole thing in the 80s because there were like 6 Police Academy movies. I think it was 8, but there were 6 Police Academy movies. At least 4 with Steve Guttenberg. I'm not stressing, bitch. You're just a fucking faggot. I know it's okay to be gay because that's how you rock, you bitch ass nigga. Now get the fuck off my platform. Thank you, Darth Clorox. Like, Blue Oyster is a gay bar in Police Academy, which is exactly that was the is an old joke. It's a Generation X joke. He said, yeah, LOL, Police Academy is a class. I know. He didn't get it. Like, I've made that's not the first time I made that joke with his live stream. Or not, I mean on this channel. Fucking terrorists need to get off. Little gay ass terrorist. That's what his name Hamad Gaffa means. It means gay Muslim terrorist. Faggot. About to go suck some Hamas dick. Go. This is for Allah. Allah.
Not quite. Right there in America, there have been plenty of stories of people
when he dies, he's not looking for them 1,000 virgins. He's looking for man booty holes. He can be up there with Fleece Johnson. I want you. I need you. We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. Oh, you want to do this the hard way, huh?
9 times out of 10, you're going to say no, right? Then the person is going to do something else.
This particular day, the lady said no, and he said, well, take my card. And she took his card.
Speaking, what I related though, why? So my mom was watching, bless her soul, she's watching one of them little stupid daytime talk shows with these black women. I forgot which one. It's the chick with the short hair, and she has on there this old white woman. I lied to you not. This bitch looks like she's 200 years old, and she's literally on there saying she's looking for a man. He got to be over 6 feet tall. He got to be fit. Guys, this bitch had to be at least 70, and um, and she was making. I was like, "Are you fucking serious? You almost 100 years old, and you still making these high ass demands, bitch. The only man you should be looking forward to seeing is Jesus, or Muhammad, or Buddha, or Gozer the Gozerian. Like the fuck you. I'm serious. This she was somewhere between 70 and 80 years old, and so she came onto the show and she was asking the host that she was like, I haven't had too much uh success on the dating sites. So she's like, I came to your shows because I know you have success, hooking people up. I'm like, yeah, I guess you wouldn't have too much um success on the dating site when when you're as old as fucking Methuselah. Like, if you don't know Methuselah, you read the Bible. He was the oldest man in the Bible. In any case, I swear she looked like Betty White. Betty White now, not Betty White back in the 1930s. Yeah, that's how old Betty White was. But yeah, she looked like Betty White in the 1930s. She looks like Betty White now. Well, I mean, Betty White died a few years ago, but you get what I'm saying. She looked old as fuck. And I swear to you, she was talking about I need a man of 6'5", that's fit, that knows how to treat a woman and blah blah blah. I'm like, bitch, you need to be going to bingo, baking your grandkids or great grandkids some goddamn cookies, um, using your AARP membership and living your golden years to the fullest. You should not be still looking for a man. You need to be looking for Jesus. Old ass bitch talking about she needs someone over 6 feet tall and fit and know how to treat a woman. Like, get the fuck out of here. I it took so much to keep my mouth closed because I didn't want to say anything because my mom is up in that age too. So I didn't want to say anything that was gonna probably upset her. I was like, this bitch too old to be making some fucking demands about a man. I was like, plus ain't no man her age gonna want her rusty, wrinkled, pickled pussy, man. you, you you hit that shit, every flap of her body gonna like reverberate. Just dust. It's flying. Like the hell. Like, you wouldn't have to lube that. You have to lube the whole body. I swear to you, I could not. I was like, you gotta be fucking serious. And I swear that was probably the same talk show she was watching like 4 months ago, where all the people in the audience were laughing at this woman who said she woke up at the hospital saying she hate men, and they all guffawing and ha ha and tee hee. And I'm like, if a guy did that, they'd have been like, oh, he's a misogynist. But a woman can wake up talking about she hate men and they all keying. Like, the fuck? And this is why brothers aren't checking for bitches anymore. Black bitches. Aurelian Radufi 7145 is, well, damn, I'm trying my best, but I don't understand your accent. Oh, well, this is live stream, so I don't think you can put on the closed captions. So you can only do that once this broadcast is played on replay. So I don't know where you're from, but I speak standard English, but it has a East Coast tilt to it. I don't speak country, so sorry. Anyway, back to my O'Shea Duke Jackson. What is that here in the background? Oh. Uh, but yeah, the guy go. That's funny. Dude will call me gay. He was like, "Well, how do you know the name of a gay bar?" Because I'm literally naming something from a movie. He didn't even get it. Like, just all he had to say was, "Oh, that reference." All he had to do was say that reference flew over my head. But no, he gonna decide. He gonna be like, "Oh, well, how do you know the name of the gay bar, dude?" Fucking gay Muslim terrorist. Taking D for the jihad. This is for Allah. Yeah, I'm sorry. They mess with me. I'm feeling goofy. It's hot, so I'm feeling goofy right now. I might as well keep this on standby. I'm thirsty, but not in that way. By the way, Darth Clorox is a funny ass username. By the way, that is a. I gotta admit that's kind of funny because you can add like Darth onto anything and it just becomes either like funny or epic, depending on what it is. Mm. Mm. Oh, I thought I put. Oh, damn it. And after this, we're gonna get to some news. Man got scoped out in Colombia. Ain't no way I'm getting scoped out. First of all, I'm not hitting the because I'm not a drinker. I'm not hitting the bars. So you're not gonna scope me out. And two, you're not gonna be around my food if I don't know you. Sorry, I'm sweaty, guys. I had to put on the. No, that's fine. I don't like the lighting, but I don't want to put on too much light because it'll just make it hotter. What I did yesterday, I closed the blind. I closed the blinds and then I put on extra light here. And I'm wondering, well, I'm wondering if that was better or about the same. Because the artificial light gives off heat too. Just because that's you know thermo thermodynamics 101. But yeah, hold up, let me grab something here.
Dealing with these Colombian women, you're not dealing with none of these American women. You go out there trying to clap cheeks and you're over there losing your life getting robbed. Oops. Well, not quite. Right there in America, there have been plenty of stories of people
Getting robbed.
getting gas.
Take a cold shower and turn the fan on high. The fan is already on high. I think. Let me make sure.
Randomly coming up to people at the
I think it's on high.
asking them, do you need your grass cut? Do you need any of the services at your house? Anything like that.
I'm so high.
And
I'm so high, man.
Don't know somebody.
What's up, newbie Kenji?
You're going to say no. All right? Then the person is going to do something else.
This particular day, the lady said no. And he said, well, take my card.
Take
and
my
she took his
money.
card. And she noticed when she got in her car, the man
Yeah, that's
immediately came out
the fan is all the
store.
way up.
And she drove.
Can only do so much.
and
I'm gonna close these blinds though.
She
Yeah.
had trouble breathing, and she couldn't catch her breath.
I'm not gonna turn on
she
the
went
head
to let
that
the window down.
the headlights because
She
that produces a lot of heat. I
the
know that.
card she
I'm gonna
took
turn on the
from
side
the
side one.
had a substance on it,
Yeah.
and it's called Boringanga.
So as soon as
She can't even say this shit.
Boring
Boringanga.
down the street, and she started to lose her breath.
Where are you?
More than likely, started
I'm
going
in the
business.
States.
Now, as soon as she took the card, the man actually started to.
Same. I'd rather be cold than hot too.
It's a substance that will capacitate you, and what she did was drove in someone's yard and honked the horn till she couldn't honk it no more. And the guy drove past her, and the people came out and they helped
Sorry,
her.
I'm listening to something. Hard to escape the heat. I know. Some listen to a message is funny. Sorry. Oh boy. All right.
After
I say black folks, we claim to be children of the sun, but we complain about the heat more than any other group. Hell yeah. Except for them.
It incapacitates you.
I don't know. I think some of them tethers be like in that heat.
You can't breathe.
So
Like remember Dave Chappelle did that little skit. He was like, he's like African people be looking at black people like, you diluted fuck. Back in Africa, you're not black. So you see, my nose is strong. That shit had me crying laughing when he said it. He's like he's an African guy. Just look at him like, you diluted fuck. He said if FBAs can't take the heat. Hell no. Well, especially if you live. Well, I lived up north, so I definitely can't take the heat. Man, when I was down south for the army, couldn't fucking take it. Then there was this girl. I told you about this before. She became famous. Like she became like a video vixen. She was in ATL. She was um she was she was Ti's girlfriend in the beginning of the movie ATL. She's like half black, half Korean. Um she goes by her name now, Lashante, but um back in the army, we just called each other by our last name. So I used to just call her Heckert because that was her last name. I didn't even know her first name until like way later. We almost, we used to flirt back and forth or whatever. But she was also in the TV show The Game. She was in a bunch of music videos like the Busta Rhymes. She was in that Busta Rhymes music video, um, and then the Drew Hill music video, in the Neo music video, and a bunch of other stuff. Like she was hot even in the army. I remember when we first got to First Gordon. As soon as we left boot camp, like they took us on a bus to Fort Gordon, and as soon as we got to Fort Gordon, drill sergeant said, he said, "Soldiers, go on to Chow." So we went on to Chow, and we were walking, and she was leaving Chow. She was walking with some other girls. I just looked up at her. I don't know she smiled because she must have saw the look on my face. I had no poker face. I just looked up. I was like, she was bad. She was bad. And so yeah, and then it just happened that the next week we were in the same class together, because apparently while before we got there, they were just pulling CQ guard duty until they had enough people to start the class. And anyway, what the fuck was my point? Yeah, she was from Texas, and I guess she was used to the heat because she would come to class with makeup on and perfume. And I'm like, yo, it's too goddamn hot to be sitting there in some makeup and perfume. But she always wanted to look like a model. And she even told me, she's like, yeah, when I come back, I'm going to be acting and modeling. I was like, oh, really? And she was like, you don't believe me? I'm like, I didn't say anything. I mean, she was right. She did end up doing acting and modeling. So, but yo, it was way too fucking hot down there. Like it was, matter of fact, because of the heat, they used to get us up at 3:30 instead of 4:30. They used to get us up at 3:30, so we would be at formation by 4 a.m. For PT formation, and then we would go off and do PT. And then on the days that it was like hot, we might end like our classes will probably end around 12 p.m. So that, I mean, because it was just that hot. And like Fort Gordon is like outside of Augusta, Georgia, so it was hot as shit. And I couldn't take it because the dudes down there, they didn't act like it was that big of a deal. I'm like, yo, this shit is too fucking hot. But some of them dudes from down south, they didn't like they they just seemed like they could take the heat more than I could. I couldn't take it, the heat. I prefer the cold. Like when we were like during boot camp, when they got cold, I was fine. I could fuck with the cold. I couldn't fuck with the heat. So luckily, boot when I did boot was between February and April. So right there in what was it, February, March? Yeah. So luckily it wasn't that bad. But by the time we got to Gordon, and I was there to from April, May, June, almost to July, and I was supposed to stay, and I would have stayed an extra 3 weeks if I had went to airborne school, because they had came to our class. One of the I don't know if he was one of the airborne instructors or just someone, looking for people who were wanting to qualify. But he was like, "Any you want to do airborne?" I was about to do it because I was like, I was like, well, is that open to everyone? He was like, yeah, yeah. I was like, Sergeant, is that open to everyone? He's like, yeah. I was about to say yes, but then I was like, nah, I want to get back. I want to get back before July 4th back home to my permanent duty because my permanent duty station was back home in Maryland at Fort Detrick. I was like, nah, I want to get back home because especially because I had just hooked up with this chick in Augusta, like right outside of Fort Gordon. She came by and she was a cutie. I was surprised she liked me. Like, I'm not saying I'm ugly dude. I thought she was way out of my league. But Southern girls, look, if you want a good girl, you gotta go down south. That's where the best. If you're not if you're not gonna go out of the country, if you want to get a good girl, you gotta get one like down south, or like one of them way over and one of them fly over. Like go get chick. And this is what I was telling my friend. Don't try to date chicks this either from East Coast or the West Coast. Get some chick from like down south, um, or in the little flyover states because they're the most like more traditional, more feminine. And Shorty was bad. And I was like, and she even called me. Like, and the other thing was, she actually did call me when I got back to Maryland, so that we could hang out on July the 4th. But I was out when she called. My sister took my one of my dumbass little sisters took the message because I was like, damn it, because they could have. I was like, why didn't you get? Because I was like, why didn't you get her number? Like, yeah, Southern girls are the closest to overseas girls. Hashtag domestic bros. With the exception but even though I say down south, that don't mean like major cities. You still need to avoid the major cities like Miami, like that last video we just watched. Don't be looking for chicks in Miami or Houston or Atlanta. You're gonna be making the same mistakes. This chick was like in some offshoot Augusta. She was like a little light skinned cute chick. She like she like someone that would have been in one of those little R&B female groups from the 90s. But yeah, I wish instead of me chasing pussy, I was like I did the airborne right afterwards, right after the AIT. But I wanted to go home. I wanted to get from down there. I was so tired of being down there. So anyway, that's my story. Let me get back to O'Shea.
A card that's worth getting. Pay your way. Get your Klarna card now.
This is what you get with cubic zirconia status. This is ill known as diamond status.
They upgraded us last week. When you want an upgrade that actually feels like an upgrade, it matters where you stay.
A garage, and she just started.
Yeah, I want to stay in Hilton too. Paris Hilton.
As much as she could, trying to stop. Now, the person that was trying to follow her just kept going. But what the person wanted to do was to make her incapacitated, probably get into the car, take her purse, take her things, and just rob her, or even worse. We're not sure. But this happened.
The American Farm Bureau Federation is opposing the Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern merger because the rail giants won't say how they'll enhance competition and lower costs.
Trains are the lifeblood of rural economy. You merge the two large ones, you get rid of the competition, somebody's going to pay the price. And I don't want to see it be small rural farmers.
The Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern merger is a raw deal. Farmers and families need more rail competition and lower costs.
Like for the ultras?
Yo, what if the U.S. actually won the World Cup this year? You know, we never won.
Show me the kitchen.
The closest we came was back in, because I looked this up earlier. The closest we came was we came third in the World Cup back in 1930.
Norway.
1930. That was almost 100 years ago. That was almost 100 years ago that we came even remotely close to winning.
I was on TikTok,
and we came third.
I also saw Spanish versions of this, and I saw people talking about this is happening.
Soccer is not our forte.
But check this out.
Guys, we need to be careful out there. People are desperate. So the other day I was talking about devil's breath and asking what it's about, because a lot of people have said they've experienced someone coming up to them, coming close to them, and then they suddenly get dizzy, woozy, they sort of lose all sense of themselves, and they don't know what they're doing, and in the process they could get robbed or kidnapped or even worse.
So just think about this. In concerts in the UK, in London, people are calling this the devil's breath. So this situation with
devil's breath, oh hell no.
Scopolamine idea in Latin America, it's not just a Latin American thing. It's not just a passport bro thing. This is happening right there in America. Criminals are adopting this sort of thing everywhere. Think about it. It probably works really well in concerts. There's so many packed people. I think there was a concert in somewhere in Europe where people are putting date grape drugs, and this was like France, somewhere like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not at risk of that because I don't drink. For you folks who drink, y'all, when you go to bars in overseas countries, do not buy open drinks.
What I want to say is this: you don't have to
only get
Kuwait,
bottled drinks.
Dominican Republic,
only buy bottled drinks when you're in an overseas bar.
This can happen to you right there in Miami. It can happen in Atlanta. People getting
or sketchy places in America. Do not buy open drinks. Buy bottled drinks only.
If some women say, "Hey, listen, we need your help,"
when I travel, I do regular stuff like taking a tour. I'm a simple guy.
Call the police.
I mean, if somebody want to get a little booty overseas, that's the best place to get the booty is overseas. What I'm saying is, you taking a risk if you dealing with bar girls or girls who frequent the bars.
You hit her, you attacked her, you're the reason why this happened. That could be a whole
that's what I'm saying. Like,
keep pushing and keep walking. Unfortunately. And it's two people there, right? It's not like the woman needed.
And I mean, we already know about the scopolamine queens in Colombia.
Doing okay. Also,
I don't even trust the bitches.
Up to you, asking you, do they need help? Do you need a service? Do you need anything? Like literally overseas, you got to be careful. Even here in Uganda, it's possible for street kids coming up to you, begging you, asking you for stuff. I've heard people, when you tell them no, I've heard people throw urine on people throw pieces on people. I've heard people talk about this a few times. But again, keep your distance from people. It doesn't really happen in Africa so much, but I have heard of certain instances. People coming up to you, asking for money. Can they talk to you? Can they ask you about something? The answer is no. All right? I keep people away from me at arm's distance all the time. If you're in a foreign country and you may want to go to the store, walk to the store, get groceries, things like that. Also consider Glovo, delivery apps, Uber Eats, things like that. That typically always works almost everywhere you go. If you have an Airbnb host and you need to have groceries delivered and the host speaks English, you can also tell your host, listen, I need to go do some grocery shopping. Here's what I want to get. Can you get somebody to go and get this stuff for me? The Airbnb host has everything to lose. He doesn't want to get a negative rating. There's no way that somebody will bring you back poisoned food or anything like that. Almost uncertain, especially if you want to cook something like that. So also understand that. Also for Americans overseas, and this is a big problem that I see, especially with a lot of black men, overdressing and overstunting. If you go to Colombia, Dominican Republic,
dudes be going out. I be saying in the Philippines, dudes be going out there looking like rappers from the 90s. Like, why are y'all dressed like that? You got all these fucking gold chains.
Fresh to death.
Gucci and
super
Fendi
expensive
and all this
Jordans
other
on,
dumb stuff. Like
yeah,
y'all look like
you're gonna
some
be the target.
y'all look like some
You're gonna get
fake
laid
ass
down.
rappers from the
Not
90s.
really in Africa so
And,
much,
and I
but
hate to say
people
it, but
do
it's,
know
it's
when
usually these
Americans
niggas from the
are
South.
dressed in a certain way.
It usually be these niggas from the South dressed like that.
Wear clothes that don't bring a lot
I'm not
to
hating on
yourself.
Southern
Stay with the
on our
solid
on our
colors,
Southern brothers,
So that means
but
white polo, black
come on,
polo, blue polo, normal stuff. Okay,
but come
normal
on,
shoes,
son.
solid color shoes.
Come on,
You should
son.
be okay. Women will still
They
talk
be
to you without looking over the top.
they be looking
Right?
mad
Carry
goofy.
very little cash with you if you can.
Yeah,
If
you're
you're
looking like a
gonna carry
walking
cash,
lick.
it's better to lose
Exactly.
cash than it is to lose your credit cards.
These people
If
be
you're
looking at
out
them
and
like
about,
yeah,
carry
we
little
about to get
cash
these
as
motherfuckers.
possible. If you're out, small money, things like that. This will
I've never
keep
been
you
got
brothers
overseas.
literally safe.
One, I don't drink.
Guys,
And I'm
you
not
take a
saying people don't have to
situation,
drink.
Jason, back at
I'm
it
just
again.
saying if you do
Good
drink,
episode,
one, don't go to
episode of
sketchy
the
bars,
Junkyard
and two,
42.
only buy
Just ready
bottled
to go.
drinks,
We're out.
and you'll be good. Also, if you're gonna be rocking with bar girls or freelancers or just girls generally from the red light district area, don't let them around your food. Like you can, I mean, you can take them to get some
Don't beat yourself
to
up.
get a bite
The
to eat,
SoFi student loan
but you
refi
shouldn't
can
leave
help
them
you pay off your loan
alone with
sooner
your
and
food
save thousands in interest. Level up your finances with a SoFi
because they might be
student loan
working for
refi.
someone.
SoFi, get your money right.
Anyway, we're gonna get back to do some news or wait. Yeah. Whatever happened to Carrie Hilson? Pretty Girl Rock. She was. I'm not. I mean, she didn't appeal to me, but she was alright. Because I dress in a way where the locals want to give me money instead. Nah, I just keep it simple. Like something like this, I'll rock like a white tee and some blue jeans or some sweatpants or something where I'm just comfortable. And if I do want to flex, the way I flex is I'll wear like a suit or maybe not a full suit, but like, suit like some dress pants with a button down and a jacket with or without a tie. That's how I'll flex. But I'm not flexing with jewelry or you know stuff like that. It just looks cheesy. B5. I remember B5. What the fuck happened to them? Well, they did work for Diddy, so. All right, enough of that. Not getting copyrighted. SCOTUS is about to decide if states can ban your AR-15. That's stupid. You know what's dumb is the governor here is banning Glocks, but you can still get a ghost gun. That doesn't even make sense. It's the same troll tried to come back under a different username. I know that's the same guy I just banned a few minutes ago. Like these people are like, cause you anyway. Like they're not too bright. Like they act like people. They think people are as stupid as they are. They suck. Like it's bad enough when you're suffering from the Dunning-Kruger syndrome. and then but you still trying to do things where you think you're being clever. It's funny when stupid people think they're being smart.
National emergency, despite voting by non-citizens being a non-issue, naturally folks are going to ask if this is about protecting elections or something else.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Whoa! Let's just add guac to the shopping list.
Summer is when ideas turn into possibilities. Harbor Freight has the quality tools to help you take it on this summer at prices that make sense. Harbor Freight, built for tool people.
If you see someone overdosing from drugs or alcohol, don't run. Call 911. Maryland's Good Samaritan law protects you. You cannot be legally arrested.
I don't care.
What are we doing here? Now we can't fund our military, the thing that Republicans care so much about, the thing that's important to fund in our country. We're going to skip over funding that we do annually every year with no issues. We're going to attach the Save Act to that. We're going to attach the Save Act to foreign surveillance to make sure that no adversaries that you're so worried about from Russia and China don't make it into our country. We're going to stop doing that because we don't pass the Save Act. Housing, which is unaffordable for the average young American right now, that's suffering with these prices created by our administration in this war. Can't even afford a house. People are struggling financially. Groceries are high. Gas just came back down decently, but still higher than when President Trump got in office. We're sitting here trying to figure out how to pay bills, and the president and the House have come together and decided nothing gets done until the Save Act gets passed because it's a quote national emergency.
Because Democrats won't vote for a bill that just wants to safeguard
Senate
the integrity
doesn't have the votes. Even Republicans in the Senate have pushed back against the Save Act.
Well, they don't have the votes because you have to have 60 votes.
Yes, but also Republicans have taken the side of Democrats in the Senate.
No, they've taken the side that it's not worth ruining the filibuster, bringing the threshold back to where it's supposed to be, to 50, 51.
Supposed to be when it's convenient. So now it's supposed to be at 50. You don't like the filibuster. Yeah,
No,
historically it has.
I like the filibuster just fine. I have mixed feelings because the filibuster prevents Democrats, when they have the majority, from enacting a lot of bad legislation or from enacting any legislation at all. But it also, it stops Republicans from doing things they want to do, some of which are bad, some of which are good. And should it
Guys,
be,
you know it's hot when you had to
not-
get a haircut just to beat the heat.
The founders didn't intend it
Literally
to
cut
take
my
six
hair
votes.
just to
They
beat the
intended
heat.
it to take
I said this
51
earlier, but
votes.
for the people
This
now,
this is a
or in the
part
broad
of the
or
speech
watching
and
this
debate aspect of procedural
replay.
rules in the Senate that you can't end. That you could just talk and talk and talk, and you can't. The vote to end the debate takes 60, and that has been now used as the vote to have a vote is 60. They didn't mean it to be that way. It could be changed. Should it be changed? Am I in favor of changing it just to get this piece of legislation through? No, because this is not as high a priority for me as it is for a lot of people in MAGA for some of the reasons you pointed out, that there are already some preventative measures for election fraud, and there's very little evidence that widespread election fraud is changing the outcome of the elections.
Music to my ears.
So for those reasons, I would not throw away the best defense we have against terrible, overreaching Democratic legislation. Having said that, I do think it's insane that you can't get any Democrats to sign on to vote for legislation. Maybe
Fraud by U.S. citizens, 0.0043%. That's about 4 cases in every 10 million mail votes. So just so you know, the people that are egregious enough to take a ballot is not.
Yeah, don't listen to a journalist when they quote statistics. Most journalists are mathematically illiterate, as she clearly is, because he has to correct her on economics, like economics 101 all the time, or on just mathematical facts all the time. Don't listen to don't
25
listen
cases in like the last decade or
to
two.
political
And not even, I think it was
pundits
like less than that,
quote
23 cases in the
stats because
last
they don't know
more
what
than
the
2
fuck
decades.
they're
So
talking about.
we're not actually talking
She
about
clearly
things that change
doesn't.
the election. So the president calling it a national emergency, us stopping legislation that's really important at a time when we have nations from all over within the U.S., right, foreign surveillance, at a time where we have several people that can't afford a house, bringing down the housing costs and doing some legitimate media things while you're having a baby.
I'm singling out our most
Yes.
significant enemy.
No, but is our most significant enemy having the most babies here? That's what I'm saying. Come back with the research tomorrow. We can talk about it. That's not the case. People don't make laws based on feelings. You feel that Chinese people are coming here and having babies and going back to China.
Yes,
I
they
don't
do.
want to talk about that. I want to talk about the facts.
They do
Are
that
there
all the
mostly
time.
Chinese people coming here and having babies? So are there mostly people cheating in our elections? Is fraud happening in mail-in voting? Is fraud happening by migrants? And that's what I'm saying. We're stalling real things, whether you agree with it or not. We're stalling real conversations because the president just wants to make sure that he can consistently tells people that our elections are rigged, they're not working well, when in fact, research and history tells us they're working really well. And so to push the SAVE Act, knowing that, yes,
I mean,
you can
she's
complain about
partially
people who
right
have a
there.
passport, you can complain about people and call them lazy, they don't want to go get their birth certificate. You can complain about all this
They
because
are.
people have been effectively voting and could be easily disenfranchised because they can't make it down to the place to go get it by November.
We can't, how dare we insist you show forms of identification in order to vote? Crazy.
Yeah, you can no, because they're not only asking for your license. They're not only asking for your license. They're asking for social security card, two forms of ID, birth certificate, passport. These are things that are not easy to get immediately. Okay, most people in the cities that you've lived in, and we talk about rural America, and maybe you can't fathom the fact that 11% of the country.
Appointment this year. It'll be a huge pain, but you just got to do it.
Look at the census. 11% of the country is living below the poverty line, according to the last one that we did. And so some of those people who have the right to vote don't have the money to go figure out how to make a passport appointment so conveniently like Robbie can. No, that's not true. Do you understand what below the poverty line is? You're not being realistic. And so even if you can't understand or acknowledge or haven't experienced that, that doesn't mean we should dismiss that there are people in this country that still want to do their civic duty that literally can't afford to do much else.
Bullshit.
A blowout argument during a congressional hearing went viral yesterday. We'll take a look at that.
Rare earth.
Many conservatives online are ripping Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett for siding with the majority on the Supreme Court's ruling in the birthright citizenship case. Now, the Supreme Court struck down President Trump's executive order that sought to redefine the 14th Amendment and end birthright citizenship in America.
The 6-3 decision hasn't gone over well with some on the right. Conservative commentator Matt Walsh writing on X, quote, "It turns out that Amy Coney Barrett is a DEI hire, a little better than Ketanji Jackson. Terrible pick. When's the last time we had a Republican president who didn't put a liberal justice on the court?"
Meanwhile, some in Congress are already calling for a constitutional amendment to reverse birthright citizenship. Trump seemed to be in favor of something simpler, writing on Truth Social after the decision was handed down. No long and unwieldy constitutional amendment is necessary. Congress should start to work today to work on ending expensive and unfair to our country birthright citizenship. They will have my complete and total support. Okay, lots to discuss here. I actually ended up discussing and debating this with a number of people yesterday. I had a conversation with Batya Ungar-Sargon about it for News Nation, with Amber Duke, you remember Amber, for some other projects. So, interesting decision. And the dissents are all very interesting because they don't all necessarily align with ourselves. So there's kind of like four issues. One is, or two issues, I guess, with 4 points. One issue being executive order versus act of Congress. Right. So Kavanaugh, for instance, is in the majority because it's an executive order. And he said he did think Congress could modify birthright citizenship, but the president can't just do it. Now, the rest of the majority said neither the president nor Congress can do it because it's just the literal wording of the 14th Amendment is you're a citizen if you're born here. So that's 5 votes that you really do need a constitutional amendment to change it. Then there's also the issue of like what's being called like the birth tourism people. Like Chinese national comes here, gives birth, goes back to China.
I'm looking at my image
The child
on
has
here.
the
It definitely looks
advantage of
like I'm
American
bald, but
citizenship, they don't live here and they have no
rest
business to
assured,
live
this is
here.
just
They're Chinese.
cut close. I
There's
actually do
that
have hair.
versus like someone who came to the country illegally but lives in the U.S. and plans to live in the U.S. and has lived
But looking
in
at
the U.S.
the image
forever,
of
and they're
myself
children. And Gorsuch,
on the
for
computer,
instance,
it does
said,
look like I'm bald. So I
he
can see why
thinks the
people kept saying,
president
"Oh, you're
can
bald,"
change
but no, I just cut it
birthright
close.
citizenship for
Cut
the former
close.
category, that it was not meant to include
One against the
those
grain.
people. Like if you just like stop over in America and give birth and like
One
go
against the
back to
grain,
country,
you would definitely
your
see the
children are
hair
not
better.
Americans, is what Gorsuch said. But
If I
if
did
you
one
do,
against the grain because it's
like,
easier.
live here, even if you came here illegally and the U.S. is your permanent like domicile, is the language, then your kids would be Americans because what other nation would they be citizens of?
Right.
Who live here. So that's a long way of saying there actually was an even stronger consensus that under the wording of the 14th
Kudana
Amendment,
says
you can't, that
all at
illegal
that stage.
immigrant children actually
Isn't
are
we?
American
I don't.
citizens if you live
I don't
here.
even know what you're talking about, brother.
Now, that being said, I think it would be, and maybe there would be a consensus for doing something about this birth tourism category, which
Maybe you can
seems a little
rephrase.
sketchier, but
I'm not trying to
so
be funny.
maybe
I just
specifically
understand.
crafted piece of legislation that just targets that might have withstood Supreme Court scrutiny. An executive order is not going to withstand Supreme Court scrutiny, and something that makes no longer American people who have lived here but their parents came here illegally is not something the Supreme Court is prepared to do because everyone has to be a citizen of somewhere, and so that wouldn't make sense. So conservatives are really mad about this decision. I think the railing against Amy Coney Barrett, who I admire and think is wonderful, is insane. And look, the 14th Amendment does just say that. So I don't. This is like the mirror. Sorry, I'll let you talk.
No, go ahead.
This is like the mirror universe version of liberals being mad that the Second Amendment just has no qualifications and says you get to have gun rights, you get to bear arms, and they're like, but I wanted to say, but not for like assault rifles or not for other kinds of guns. Well, it doesn't say that. Sorry. The same is true here. It doesn't add all these qualifications. It just says if you're born here, you're a citizen. And the way to get around that, you really don't like it, constitutional amendment. That's the way the founders intended it. So I think it's a fine decision. I agree with it. I'd be fine narrowly curbing citizenship for the
says, I mean, we all changing our faces due to situations.
They didn't try to do that, so they lost.
The railing on Amy Coney Barrett is kind of wild to me because she's voted
Changing
with
our faces
conservatives in the court so many
due to
times in
situations.
state instances that have been deemed as wins for the president on a variety of instances, including Roe v. Wade. And so I just find that curious that there's so many people that are calling her, and the word DEI and welfare is so misused that it's absurd, but whatever. So that's the whole thing. I think the executive order part, it was almost obvious that that was going to get pushed back. The minute that the president announced that he was announcing or having or trying to end birthright citizenship, there was immediate lawsuits, immediate pushback saying, okay, well, what about the statelessness that occurs? And I know he didn't mention in this specific executive order that historically, if you're already here, he's going to go back and review those people. But it could create a permanent underclass of people that have no citizenship all of a sudden because this executive order is interpreted in this way. And it can't stand as it was.
And importantly, again, the conservatives who are just railing at Amy Coney Barrett are proving that they didn't read the decision. Because Amy Coney Barrett and Kavanaugh and Gorsuch, who was in the dissent, all agreed that the president could not, via executive order, rescind the citizenship of the children of illegal immigrants. All three of them took that position. They differed on other aspects of it. But all three of them said, via executive order, the president cannot say that people who live here, but their parents came here illegally, that they are citizens. Like, all three said that. So you're not reading, if you're just like raging at Amy Coney Barrett, you haven't actually checked. All three justices that Trump appointed said that. So what do you want?
All right, let's get to this. As for Democrats, they applauded the decision, expressing cautious optimism. California Governor Gavin Newsom writing on X in part, quote, the Constitution barely survived today. Trump's Supreme Court declined to let him rewrite the Constitution and end birthright citizenship. We're hanging on by a thread. The fight to end our democracy is far from over.
over. Yeah, see, that's a bad take too. On the other side, then as many Dems were freed. I can't believe it got so close. I can't believe it was 5-4. Well, it's less close if you look at aspects of this, right? Can you are illegal immigrant children who live here? Can their citizenship be revoked via executive order or prohibited in the future? Was not fighting for.
Are we real or fake based on how we treat people? This is really messing with my head. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Alito was really the only. I actually don't understand who Alito thinks is or should be a citizen based on his reading of the Constitution. But and then also the fact that it was done via executive order added to made it a 6-3 decision. So
listen, it's simple. The 14th Amendment says what it says. If you're born in the United States, it's something that Ronald Reagan has mentioned. It's something that historically has been on the books for decades. If you were born here, then you have citizenship here.
I mean,
we can't go back.
That it says.
Well, we can't go back and make changes to what historically has stood. Otherwise, we're going to create a paperwork conundrum, a lifestyle conundrum. Like if your grandmother made a decision to come here illegally, as we're calling it, and then you're 3 generations removed, what does that make you if this moves forward? So there's a lot of things to think about outside of the immediate, oh, you can't fly here from China, have a baby, and go back to China. And also to this birth tourism idea, it's really a non-factor. So every piece of evidence I was trying to find to back up birth tourism showed that somewhere between 2,000 to 36,000, wide range. I'm giving you the highest studies and the lowest.
That's kind of
are birth tourism that may have come here and left. Okay, but that represents 1% of births annually in the country. And so if this is a 1% issue, if you're going to change the law to affect the rest of the country that's come here in some way and has lived here for decades already. Some people could be retiring and their grandmother came here illegally and you want to get rid of citizenship for them. I don't think that is worth
Send the bitch back home.
And also just, we can contend with that by...
Why should they come here illegally when people had to come here the legal way and go through all the hoops and hurdles? Just because she's your grandma. Don't care.
What doesn't kill me makes me sharper. President Trump is fighting to make America more affordable, but a massive Union Pacific and North Carolina
stopping hostile foreign people from hostile nations from coming here, like we can have just stricter.
We're not considered to ban folks for coming because they're pregnant or because we don't get along with nations.
Okay, but we are going to do that.
The people from the nations, like exactly like how we're letting everyone here for the World Cup. The people from the nations don't necessarily align with the government of that nation. And we have to allow for people to be able to travel here.
I just visited Poland and the Ukraine.
Okay.
And when you show up there in the airport, they ask what you're doing in the country. Right? It's not like they do that too. We can ask. Why are you coming to America? Oh, you're coming to America to have a child, so they have the advantages of Americans.
And no one's gonna say that. No one's also. You know what happens when you get on a plane? They don't make you show like any doctor's form about how far along you are in your pregnancy because I've done it. And so
what are you talking about, dude? You sound schizophrenic. Bro, you know the truth, but you're just buying into the political media hype. Are you referring to me or are you referring to the TV?
Don't look that heavy. What can you do? No one can tell you, oh no, you're
like,
not.
What are you talking about?
People break
Like,
rules every day.
unless you're referring to the TV program that I'm watching, I literally didn't say anything. So if you're referring to me, you're schizophrenic. So I didn't say anything.
We're still going to deal with it. It can be dealt with by
you need to get medicine.
Visa application processes for
I'm gonna put you on timeout so you can go get some lithium.
You don't want it. There's really just 2 I can think of. So
but birth order is not only from hostile foreign nations. There are people from nations all over the globe that have a U.S. So you want to be specific and selective on which people we allow to travel here. So you don't mind if people are breaking the law. You don't mind if people are breaking the law from the UK. You mind if people are breaking the law from where?
Russia and China.
Okay, but that's ridiculous. You can't allow if you have a law on the books and you want to make a law in Congress, you're going to point out specific.
This is about national security. We're not like Britain is not trying to conquer the United States from within.
No, this challenging this is about citizenship in the U.S. It wasn't about national security. It was about further tourism and people taking advantage of the U.S. as it currently stands and policy currently stands. If you want to have a conversation about national security, that's a whole different legislative process that we can discuss. But what's at hand is the fact that people don't want anyone living here that literally doesn't have a full lineage of being fully American. And that's not ever going to happen. That's not the country that we designed. It's
people who don't live here.
It's not only, what study are you pointing to that says it's mostly Chinese and Russian people? People are breaking laws from countries across the globe, like you said, coming here, and not even rampantly. I told you 2,000 people in some studies have come from countries globally, had a baby and went back home. So it's not, I'm not seeing any studies that point to Russia and China.
Stop that. It's not, it doesn't violate the 14th Amendment to try to stop that.
Specifically for certain countries.
We don't, we can have whatever visitation policies for people of whatever countries we want. We can say, whatever, there's a terrorist event going on in the Middle East, you can't come here for, like, we do that all the time. Or in Africa or South America, like, what we restrict visitors from certain specific nations based on the conditions in those nations constantly, right? I mean, that's not,
I know,
that
but
doesn't
we're
violate
making a
any
law to address a problem that doesn't exist. There's no study that you can point to that shows that Chinese and Russia
doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist to point to China and Russia specifically as the sources of birth tourism in the U.S. That's not any research that I've seen. I've seen that 2,000 cases or less than that in some studies have happened year by year, and it's been globally. And so people that are approved from a variety of countries might come here and go back.
I mean, the people who raise concerns about this specifically are talking for the most part about the Chinese, as far as I know.
Yes, because they'd like to get the legislation passed. And so they're using the example of an adversary because it better propels their case.
I don't think this is an outrageous claim I'm making. I agree with the Supreme Court decision. Some steps could be taken to stop members of a hostile foreign nation from exploiting a loophole in the system so that their offspring who don't live here and they don't live here get some advantages of U.S. citizenship. If we take some steps to stop that, fine by me. Doesn't seem like the craziest thing I've ever said on this show.
I understand, but we're always creating policy for problems that are minuscule. It's the same thing we're going to talk about with the Save
It
Act
is not
in the next
minuscule,
segment.
bitch. Shut up.
Problems that are minuscule, major policy.
Do you know how many?
I just don't see the math there.
Let us know what you think.
Of course you don't see the math. You're mathematically illiterate.
On the Save Act, I'll talk about that next.
And you have no. This bitch has no idea how many foreign operatives are in the United States currently, and how many of them are coming across the border every year. We have so many foreign operatives in this country. It's fucking ridiculous.
Indeed can help you get it right the first time. Sponsor your job on Indeed and get matched with quality candidates. Visit Indeed.com/hire now.
Time is about to fizz out in a minute.
Huge shouting match broke out during a hearing on Tuesday between Representatives Mike Lawler and Jamie Raskin.
The hearing was about sanctuary policies in Illinois and California, which has long been a point of contention in the immigration debate. Here's how the argument started.
The same outrage you feel about Renee Good and Alex Preddy,
Mr.
you should
Chairman,
feel about Sheridan Gorman and Lincoln Riley and every Angel family in this country.
I do feel that outrage.
You do not, because if you did, you would not support sanctuary
the outrage about Alex
You should be
Preddy and
ashamed
Renee
of
Good.
yourself.
You should be
ashamed of
belong
yourself.
in this community. You should get the hell out of here.
And the fighting continued from there.
Say one word about it. Say one word about Alex Preddy and
I
Renee
did.
Good.
I wrote a whole New York Times op-ed about it. You should be absolutely
follow the
ashamed of
rules of the
yourself
committee.
for opposing sanctuary policies that resulted in their daughter's death.
The committee will be
We,
in order.
our Congress still acts more civilized than other countries, where they just get into freaking fist fights.
I said, what do you think if like people do exist out there? He's like, well, it would be nice to think that this is not the best that God could do. Because this is embarrassing.
Well,
like,
why is it embarrassing?
I mean, screaming on top of their lungs, like, let's just.
Oh, apparently today is Happy Canada Day. So if any of you are from Canada, Happy Canada Day.
Share the
A.
intention
I'm
to
joking.
protect American citizens, right? So we're talking about, you know, the person who Lawler was
But go eat
representing
some,
who lost their life due to
I don't know,
not
some
being an
mousse
immigrant.
with some
Her mom
maple
was
syrup
there.
and
And so
pancakes.
he's literally arguing for a case of someone who
I'm
died
sure you don't
due to
actually eat
undocumented
moose out
immigrants.
there. Or do you? Do Canadians eat moose? I don't know. But happy
Overall,
All right,
Happy
well,
Canada
and James
Day.
Raskin was arguing also back, and this is an inappropriate time for that. He wanted just to introduce the guest. He was arguing back for Alex Preddy and Renee Good, saying that maybe Lawler spoke out, but fine, he said he wrote a New York Times op-ed. I didn't get a chance to read it, but when he said that I wanted to. But other Republicans immediately sided with Kristi Noem, calling them terrorists. And so
she was punished for that.
I know, but
she was criticized by Republicans for that,
so,
and she exited the administration in no small part.
So Jamie Raskin is asking, yes, let's have empathy for this whole thing. There's a better way to solve
24.6 million followers. God damn.
And so, obviously everybody feels very
make you feel small when you look at some of these people's
understand the full scope
people
of
that follow
immigration.
I never even heard this guy King Bach. I've seen his face before. I thought he was a comedian. Oh, he is a comedian, stand-up comedy special on YouTube. 24.6 million followers on Instagram. God damn.
It was completely uncomfortable for him. And I sat down with the Denver mayor and interviewed him about this. I talked to migrants and interviewed them that were coming here about this. And Raskin's point has been this whole time that if migrants don't feel the immediate threat of getting deported immediately and find a path to asylum or whatever they're looking for, if we just have dialogue, maybe they will call local law enforcement, engage with local law enforcement instead of being like a fear tactic. Yes, they'll have dialogue when crimes happen in neighborhoods, right? Most migrants are here to work and contribute to society. The ones that I've interviewed are here to the Venezuelans specifically that I interviewed in Colorado. We're talking about, I asked specifically with a translator what their goals were. People were trying to make a better life to eventually go back to Venezuela and just figure it out, or a path to becoming a citizen in the U.S. and working for a lot of the industries that hire migrants and use migrants that we're pretending doesn't happen. And so this conversation has to happen without screaming.
Look, the American people disagree with that. Public opinion polling on this issue shows
it varies.
Widespread support. It varies based on how much deportation we should do and what level of immigrant we should get rid of. But there is a strong consensus to reduce illegal immigration in this country, to turn more people away at the border, to take people who crossed illegally and send them back. And the asylum process is totally broken because they all know to claim asylum, and then there are just not enough court. It's way back. It's backed up, and then once you've claimed asylum, you're actually not in the country illegally anymore because you can be here according to the rules until your case is resolved, which can take forever because it's so backlogged. This process was supposed to be for people who were, genuinely in some fear for their life. It's being expanded to all immigrants, and it's now broken.
So let's focus on the example that I just gave. So we talk about how bad Maduro was, and Republicans celebrated when we captured him, and President Trump made the decisions he made in Venezuela.
Yes.
Because of the way that we also looked at the way that he treated and his leadership, as well as the military treated citizens there.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So these citizens were fleeing dire circumstances and even death in some cases to come to the U.S. to seek asylum.
In some cases.
Yes, in many of the cases when I interviewed them. And so if we talk about that and look at that, why is that so problematic for Republicans?
You don't have to convince me. If it were up to Robbie's presidency, I'm happy to welcome in a large number of Venezuelan immigrants who are fleeing socialism and hate the despotism that was there and want to work in this country and love America and are anti-socialist. I say, come on down, come on in, the water's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm all for it. You don't have to sell me, but you do have to sell the American people who vote time and time again to say, we want somewhere between very little immigration and no immigration. That's what we want.
What the
That's
American people,
I'm trying to operate within that.
What I understand is what the American people said is, listen, we do not like Joe Biden's policies and the way he's handled immigration over his tenure. We do not also like the way that President Trump has implemented immigration reform. This has been chaotic and stressful. What we all agree on is that we do want criminals, like the one that Mike Lawler was there to discuss, the death of somebody happened from an undocumented criminal.
Mm-hmm.
We want them out of the country. Everybody agrees for that. And so
after this guy's I'm out, I'm too tired.
Mostly agrees in the country, including a lot of Democratic leadership. That
I didn't even go to the gym because I was like, man, fuck this shit, it's too hot for
so
this
this
shit.
is performative. So they both can put these out, put them on social media, and say, this who's fighting for this person, this who's fighting for this person, and make it a slogan to raise money. What we really need is reform and change, and people are on the same page about that specific issue about getting criminals out of the country.
After being MIA since March, New Jersey Representative Tom Keene has resurfaced. We'll give you his explanation for his mysterious absence. Stay with us.
All right, well, guys, I'm out. See you later. Stay cool. Stay hydrated. Peace.